Good morning. I was on here about 5 minutes late today because I'm having trouble. I'm trying something different with my image. I usually print it out, and now I've got the ring light showing on it, and also I'm having a hard time getting the whole image on here, but I think I can do it this way. Painting a rooster today, and I just want to get started by doing transparent colors underneath. That's the way I paint each week on here. I do transparent color just to give it that vibrant color, and then I go over it with opaque colors, which covers a lot of it, but it still leaves some of it showing through and kind of gives it a nice glow. So I will begin with the red. I just love red, so that would be a fun place to start. I'm using a little Rembrandt transparent red medium to go ahead. Oh, and I did grid. I use this app called Grid, and then I grid it and did out just a light sketch on here. Roosters are one of my favorite things to paint. I'm adding a little bit of liquid to help it to move a little better. And it also speeds up the drying. In case I find it a home quickly, then it doesn't take that long to dry. This year I had some goals in mind of what I wanted to try to achieve. I'm already breaking some of it, but I want to just lay down the paint and not fuss with it as much, to be a little more loose. And the other one, if you've joined before, was to always put the caps back on the paint, which is a kind of a duh, but it was a bad habit, so I went painstakingly through, and all the caps I could put back on I have, and I just got this really cool organizing, these racks from Jerry's Artorama, and I think they're going to help me make sure I put everything back on the rack. I really wish that would go away. I'll just see if it does. Yeah. Oh, crud. Oh, just a second. Should come back. Okay. It just saved the image for me. So putting quite a bit of paint on, as well as the liquid, helps you get more on there. I think I might have picked up some yellow, so it may go a little orange on me. Normally have some more people. Could, because I was 5 minutes late, people thought, oh, she's not doing it. Darn. If that happened. Okay, so got the red. I don't think I drew in the beak, did I? Oh, I did. All right, so another transparent that I use is Indian Yellow, Winsor Newton. I see a lot of that, so I'm going to go ahead and get some of that on here. And it's a pretty bright yellow that makes a nice base for this area. Something I'm doing today that I don't normally do is I put some black on my palette. I usually make black with ultramarine blue and burnt sienna for a warmer one, or alizarin crimson, which makes a nice purpley dark. I'm going to still put it even where it's not quite as bright, because we'll put the opaque over it. And I think probably the only place I'll use the black is in the eye, just to see if that makes much of a difference. I can get a pretty dark blackish color with the ultramarine blue and the other colors I mentioned. Okay. And then down here, good morning, Jean and Jill. Nice to see you. I was saying that I thought I'd try something different and use this grid program in my iPad, but you see the ring light on it now, which is annoying. I might go back to the printing out a paper, and just want you to be able to, I can't get both images in there because the iPad's so wide, so not a good idea. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of black, which I don't usually do, in the eye. Just see if it makes any difference at all. You can always add color to black too, to give you a more colorful dark. I found out about an easel that an artist that is no longer with us designed. His name I can't pull up in my head right now. She used to do paintings of people in museums all the time, looking at works of art. Wonderful artist. Anyway, it has the ledge that you can put smaller works on, and I'm thinking about getting that because this is not very secure with a canvas. Morning, Jean. Excuse me. I'll come down. I'm going to add in a little bit of transparent brown. Rembrandt. Just in that darker area there. And some places over here. I could have done orange too. That might have been the transparent orange. Oh, I see. What I forgot is you know what? I think I want to add in some dioxazine purple too. It does not love that purple. I think I picked up ultramarine blue there. Sorry. So you get to see the difference here. There we go. Let's see if some of that in there. I'm going to use some of the black too. This is ivory black. I really haven't used much black over the years, so I know there's a difference with Mars black. I think it may be that it's a little more brown, but if you guys know, let me know. So how's everybody been doing? Anything fun happening or painting anything great? It's all great. I had mentioned that I was in a Nanzeman Suffolk Academy art show, which is an awesome show. I do it every year. And this year it's online as well as in person. They just do the online part after hours. And I'm excited. I've already sold 5 and I'm taking a couple more out today to add to it. And so that's what I've been up to a lot. They wouldn't take the extras as many as they used to, so I've had to make a couple of extra trips out there. Okay, so now for the green area, I'm going to put in some Viridian, which is a cool green. Cooler in temperature. Oh. This isn't going to work. You need a bigger brush for that background or it'll take me forever. Okay, I'm sorry I gotta put my arm in front of it to hold it for right now. I was sharing before that I have a goal this year to try to loosen up a little bit, perhaps be more intentional with brush strokes. We'll see how that goes. I want to show you these organizational things I have, maybe at the end, because I'm afraid if I move this camera, I'm not going to be able to get it back right. Sad as that is to say. Really need a technical person to help me with a lot of this stuff. All right. I know a lot of us who are of a mature age, let's say, could use a little bit of help with some of this stuff. Welcome. Let's see, some more people have joined us. I have to really hang back to see who's there. So if I don't see you right away, please know I'm happy you're here. Well, now I'm putting in a little bit of sap green, a little warmer green as well. Give us a little bit of variety here. And I was doing the red background, which, you know, I've done a million paintings doing that. But the transparent base was not showing up, and it's kind of like, why am I doing this? So I decided to do away with the red for now, so you could see all the transparent colors. And And it's also good for me to do things a different way than I'm been used to, because it just makes it fresher when you can change things up sometimes. You're not as what I need, I just thought of is like a big clamp. Of course, then that would go into the painting though. Or if I knew where my tape was right now, I could at least try taping it back there behind it. Okay, now for that dark right in here, I'm going to do that dioxine purple. I just think that would be fun. Back to the smaller brush. This is M. Graham paint, and it has a wonderful amount of oil in it, walnut oil, so it spreads beautifully. I should get some more of that. One time I went down to South Carolina and decided I wanted to paint down there, and I didn't have my paints. So I went to the store, and basically that's what they had was the M. Graham. So I bought a bunch of it and didn't know about how oily it was. So it just felt like I was slipping around in an oil slick. But, it's like with anything else. When you practice it for a little while, you get better at it. Okay, so still not finished with the transparents. Now I'm going to use a little bit of alizarin crimson because it's a darker value. And I want to put some of these darker areas in there in shadow. Okay. I have to keep reminding myself, just put down the brush stroke and move on. You can see where these shadowed places are. So the alizarin is a nice reddish purple kind of in it. I love it. It's one of my favorite colors on my palette. I just got an order from Jerry's yesterday. It's always so exciting when it arrives. And I was trying to be frugal, let's say, by not ordering as many things, because it's like in the candy store, even online. I mean, there's so many wonderful things. And I regretted it, actually, that I did that, because I want to try some other colors, and I think I'm going to go to the local Jerry's here, which I'm fortunate to have one, and get some more. Anybody else like that? You get into the art store and just, go in for one or two things and come out with a basket full. Okay, so that wasn't everywhere. Well, I'll do a little bit more. I do want to get the opaques going so it'll look a little more solid. And then we can do some along here too. See, I'm a scrubber a little bit, and I don't know if that's bad, but I wanted to try to do it less. Okay. Hi, Cheryl. Astock. Let's start with some red on the comb, I believe it's called here. And I'm doing a little red. Oh, but that looks too red. So I'm going to mix with a little bit of, rather than doing white, I'm going to add in a little bit of Montserrat orange to lighten it. Let's see how that looks. It's a little better, but I'm going to try something a little cooler, some radiant pink. Yeah, it's a little better. When I do the final highlights, it'll lighten up. This part here is a little bit more lit. Okay, but I need some of that is the light on it. Here, I need a richer red, so I added some Cad Red Medium with some alizarin. And when you add in the opaque colors, it starts to have some volume. And excuse me. And I don't know if I have it out, but I think I need some Cad Red light too. Go in here a little bit more. Get a sense of that beak, and I'm going to use a little bit smaller brush. Just kind of get a line in here. And then that's better. I didn't put orange out, so I'm going to mix a little bit of yellow and red. Maybe an orange. So let me get this in here. I really do like to get a sense of the face pretty early on because it just makes me happy to see them. Okay, now I'll go back with the black and reshape this part here. It's not really circular, it goes up here. Around. Okay. And then there's black going around the orange. Very much a back and forth thing, so when I do get my orange, wherever that is, I'll probably add more to the eye. Okay, so then there's a little bit of white, so I'm going to take some some white and add it in here. My hand is not, well, I'm on my second cup of coffee here, so my hand is not as steady as I'd like. Okay, so I got this new color called King's Blue Rembrandt. I'm just going to put a little bit of that in the eye. A little bit more than that. Okay, and then a dot of white. Okay. And I didn't put burnt sienna out, but I use burnt sienna quite a bit, so I'm going to add some of that to my palette. Hello, Mike. Good to see you. Okay. Now, I'm going to try to be logical here again. All right, now, I'm going to do some of the feathers and also a little bit on the beak using some yellow ochre. So, put some of that in here. This will begin to add volume. I think in the higher places I'm going to add some warm white to that yellow ochre. Just a little so it doesn't get too chalky. Use some Naples yellow, actually. That's a good one to mix in too, rather than the white. I love roosters. When I was in Ireland a few years back, quite a few years now, but one of my family members that lives over there knew I loved to paint roosters, so they took me to a farm, and it had tons of roosters, but also other birds, and there's a farmyard dog there. It was great, and they were characters to watch. Such attitude. Of course, I got good pictures to paint too. Sometimes I have a hard time just focusing on taking photos, though, when I'm in a situation like that I find so fun. I'm just like, oh, look at that, look at that. Would have made a good picture, but I'm having too much fun. Okay, I see some, actually I should have put some of this dioxazine purple in there, so I'm going to do it now. It's the transparent, but kind of see some in there. On this side, which is a little darker, more in shadow. And I'm going to use some of it where it's real dark. On the wattle, I guess they call it. People ask me if I was a farm girl. I actually grew up in the city. Or not downtown Philly, but definitely not farmish. And it was really my experience visiting family in Ireland who don't live on farms, but definitely have countryside everywhere in beautiful Ireland. And that's where I first fell in love with all the animals. Put some down here too, into that black. I just like a lot of color. Okay. I'm going to take some of this more orange mix that I did and put some in here. Kind of lighten up that area. And then we go to the background. I also jump around, but it all gets painted eventually. All right, now I'm going to take some of my lemon yellow and mix that with a little sap green. But then I'm going to calm it down a little bit with just a touch of alizarin. It would probably be helpful if I mixed some of my colors ahead of time for the demonstration, but it's not something I normally do. I kind of like the process of coming up with the color as I go. For the mix a little bit of the black and purple to go in here. Here I said I was going to be very intentional with my brush strokes, but I'm still, I don't know, maybe it's hard to change when you've been painting this long. Oh, good morning, Pat. Thank you. Okay, we'll go down a little further and I'll mix in still the lemon yellow and a little bit of alizarin. Oh, I was going to try some of this manganese too. I think I'm going to mix in ultramarine. It's like my favorite green mixture. Ultramarine and the yellows. It just makes me happier. And we'll get a little deeper with a little more ultramarine in here. A little darker. Okay, now this is part of his back feathers. Excuse me, which I do want to go a little darker, so I'm going to use some of the black. Like I said, this is new for me to use the black, so we'll just see what happens. Do any of you painters have a preference over one black to the other, like Mars black or ivory black, lamp black? There's a bunch. This darn thing shakes when I do the brush strokes. It's attached to a table, so it moves a little bit. Hope that isn't too dizzying this hour. Okay. He's starting to have an attitude, huh? Love a rooster with attitude. I see I haven't brought his comb down far enough. So I will do that now. It's sitting on his beak there. Okay. Now to give some more definition to his this area here. Okay. I'm going to use some Montserrat oranges. See what it does in here. I think I'm going to need to use some burnt sienna too. And I look and see where else could I put some burnt sienna. Okay, and more alizarin. But I think I'm going to add a little bit of ultramarine blue, just a touch to the alizarin to darken, so we can really darken those spots like in here. The beginning part of the painting is just kind of finding where everything is. And then you start to find more details. And it just depends on how much you love the details. And I always want to just be a little more loose. But it's like salmon swimming upstream, going against the details. Oop, I did that one, so it disappeared. See some dark in here. Okay, now down in here. I do not know where my orange is. And you see my new rack that organizes everything. You can't believe I won't be able to find it. I think it didn't end up in the rack yesterday when I set it up. I will show it at the end when I don't have to worry anymore about seeing the palette here. I mean the reference and stuff. Okay. Now I'm going to use a little CAD red light and see if that goes bright enough for me. So I put it in where I see the, oh yeah, that's good. The brighter values. A lot of paint companies are going to replacements for the cadmium colors because of health reasons. I shudder to think of all the cadmium I've absorbed over the years. Wearing gloves, or I have, if I just got it out, is this, I think it's called a glove in a bottle that you can put on your hands at the beginning. I have eczema on my hands, so I'm always really reticent to put too much on because they can irritate, different creams can irritate your skin. But it's a good idea if it's bad for you. So you can see, just trying to get these warmer, brighter shades in here. I need to go, let's take some of that with some, put out some Naples yellow reddish, which is a little brighter than the Montserrat, and put some of that out. Put this other brush down and play with that a little bit. Pardon me. This is actually, what I'm putting down is actually warmer than what's there. But I wanted to see how I liked it. And I like that it's making it come forward. Sometimes just the texture of a paint that you become familiar with, it'll do what you want it to, as far as brush strokes and everything. This one is a Lucas brand, and it's very buttery. That's why when I use a titanium white, I use soft mixing white a lot because of the texture of it. It's softer than trying to use titanium. And it's slightly warmer than titanium. Okay, this beak needs more definition. So I'm going to put a little bit of warm white, which is not soft mixing white, but it also has a nice texture. It's gambling. Ooh, doesn't that make it pop forward? I like that. Okay, put a little bit of this white in there. I don't know what you call that little thing, but they all have that. Okay, and start putting in some of this warm white in here. Oh, it looks like I only have 5 more minutes. I got started late because of this change of setup and whatever I did to my light here that didn't make it as easy to focus it on everything. I'll have to play with that. Oh, thank you, Jean. You like lamp black, Pat? I'll have to try that one. I don't know if I have tried that. It's probably a good idea for me to Google, what the different qualities are of the various blacks. But you can add color into black also if you want to have a more colorful black. That makes sense, and that's why I usually mix it. I mix like ultramarine with alizarin to make a purpley black, or with burnt sienna to make a warmer one. But another artist I follow said they used the black in the eyes of birds, so I just wanted to try that. I could tell a difference. So far I can't, but I'll keep trying it to see. I don't have occasion to use my new King's Blue or my manganese blue, so I'm really kind of bummed. I'll have to paint something else today that allows me to try that. I suppose I could throw blue into him if I just want to try it, but I think I won't since we're almost out of time. Okay, so what I will do, I will continue to work his feathers, doing different variety of colors. Like, I use the Naples yellow reddish to put in, to use for the lighter areas here. And that would be a good one just to put into his tail feathers too, because even if you go over it a lot with the obvious colors you see, it just will add something to it, just like the transparent layer does. And then I'll try just so you can see, here's one that's got pink mixed with red. And it also helps make it cohesive because I put some of those in there. And I'd say I'll probably spend a good amount of time just getting the reds established. It's a little bit more pink red. I might add in like permanent rose, or just make a more pink red to do his comb. And I'll be, signing it with my Bright Out tool, which I absolutely love. It's right here. And next week I'll start 5 minutes early, so I have more time to make sure the camera works better. So thank you all for joining me today, and I look forward to next Wednesday when we do this again at 9 a.m. And I hope you have a wonderful, creative day. Hi, Caro. Sorry, just finishing, but this will be up if you want to watch it on my feed. And I also put it up on YouTube and on my blog on my website. So hope you'll visit there. And again, thank you and have a great day. Bye.